couple extra buttons here. So hold on just a second. I guess we're live. We are live. All right.
Are we recording, Judge?
I don't know. We're live on YouTube. That's a good question. I don't know if we're recording. Hold on. Hold on. We're live streaming.
You want it recorded, Dane?
I was going to say I have no requirement of it. I just know that.
Okay.
I don't think we're recording.
Okay.
I'll I can record the audio, but we're not recording the Zoom.
All right.
Okay. All right. All right, let me call to order Lubbock County Court. We're sitting in probate guardianship matters, and we're here under cause number CC-2022-GD-26 in the matter of the guardianship of Dorothy Jane FILGO. And this is on a, is that pronounce that right? FILGO?
Yes, FILGO. It's
FILGO. Just like it.
just like
it looks.
Mhm.
FILGO.
That's good.
Yeah.
And this is on an application for guardianship of the person and estate. All right, Ms. Pleasant. Hold on just a moment. Ms. Pleasant, is your applicant ready to proceed?
Mayor present and ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Norman, as attorney ad litem appointed by the court, are you ready to proceed?
Dane Norman, attorney ad litem for the proposed board, present and ready, Judge.
All right. All right, Ms. Pleasant, it looks like we got just one witness today. Is that correct?
Just the one.
One. Okay. Ms. Miller, even though we're doing this by Zoom, this is still a court hearing, and I do need to place you under oath. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you're about to give in the matter before this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. Ms. Pleasant.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Yes.
Mary Lee, can you tell me your full name, please, ma'am?
Mary Lee FILGO Miller.
Okay. And you're here today on an application to be appointed as the guardian of Dorothy Jane FILGO, person and estate, and she is your aunt. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about her family? Is she married?
No, she is never married.
Okay. Does she have children?
No children.
No children. Okay. So you are her closest, nearest relative.
I'm pretty much it
You're it. Okay. Okay. Now you live where?
in Dallas.
Okay. And about how often do you come visit your aunt?
I haven't been up there often lately, but I need to be up there more often now.
Okay.
Sure.
So the last time you were here was what, April? Is that what you
In
told me?
April, yeah.
Okay. And where is she currently? Where does she live?
At Caroline House.
She's at Caroline House. So she's at the long-term care, the nursing home
Yes,
part of
yes,
Caroline.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. And what is, I mean, the doctor has her doctor's letter, so the CME, so he knows that part. But can you tell us just generally, what is her diagnosis and kind of what's going on with her?
Well, she does have dementia. She is not mobile. She is almost blind. And I'm not sure how well she hears.
Okay.
Apparently she still eats real well.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard. She eats well. But she's not really cognizant of what the conversation is and
Okay.
what's going on.
Okay. And so what has kind of led to the need for this guardianship?
She does not have the funds to pay for Caroline and does not have anyone else to care for her.
Okay. Tell the judge a little bit about, there was an outstanding bill at Caroline. Is that correct?
Yes. When I kind of got into the picture, there was already an $18,000 outstanding.
And who, go ahead and tell him who paid that.
Well, me and my family.
So she does have a little bit of money in her checking account. Is that correct?
Yes.
Like you don't have access to it, but you have statements. Is that right?
Right. I had the mail forwarded.
Okay.
So it didn't get lost.
Okay.
She's got $18,858.59 right now.
Okay. But technically she would need to pay you back.
Right, right.
Okay. So she doesn't really have much.
Yeah. No,
Okay. Does she have a house? Does she have cars?
Yes.
Can you tell us kind of what
she
she
has
owns?
a house and she has a car.
Okay. What
And,
is there anything else?
No,
We have, is it insurance? Does she have insurance policies? Like what that's listed here. What kind of insurance? Like life insurance? Or are we talking just like health
Yeah.
insurance?
I know she's got health insurance. I have not found any
Okay.
indication of life insurance.
Okay.
Unless she has something through teacher retirement, but I don't know because I can't get into any of it
I was gonna
yet.
say, because you don't have the authority to do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if you're appointed as the guardian today, and we've talked about the fact that there's two parts to that: guardian of the person to be able to make medical decisions or maybe move her if she can't afford Carolyn House or something like that. But there's also the guardian of the estate. And
Right.
so if you're appointed today, what would your plan be? What would
I
you
think my plan would be to try to get the house cleaned out, which will be a chore. There's a lot of stuff in there. And to sell the house and the car, because we don't need either one of those any longer, and use the proceeds from that to pay for her care.
Okay. So to try to keep her in Caroline House. She's
Mhm.
doing well there.
Yeah, she is doing well there. And I just fear that, ideally it'd be nice to move her down to Dallas, but I don't think she could make that trip. And I think to even try to move her to someplace else would just be very confusing and probably not be good for her.
Okay. And just to clarify, I don't know if Judge, if you noticed, how old is your aunt?
101.
She's 101. That's so awesome.
She gets the gold star for the day.
Right.
Doesn't she? Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
time we applied until I filed the order, she had a birthday. So I was like, oh, she's 101 now. Like, that was exciting.
I filled out one of the forms and I put her birthday is 5/25/21, and then I went, no, somebody's going to think she's a year old. Go back and put a 19 in there.
Right. Okay. I think I'm going to pass the witness at this time.
You didn't get into the qualifications of her to serve. Did you?
Of Mary Lee to serve?
Yeah.
Sorry, Judge. Are you okay? So we talked about the fact that you all are related, right? Do you owe your aunt money? We've talked about the fact that she owes you money. Okay.
No,
Do you have a felony on your record?
I do.
Or you do not? Okay. We're just trying to make sure that you're not disqualified in any way from being your aunt's guardian. We've talked about the fact that she doesn't have anyone else to be it, but just want to make sure that you're not disqualified in any way. So trying to think.
Okay, that's good.
Anything.
All right,
Is that
Mr.
good?
Norman. Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Norman.
Thank you, Judge. Mary, you have completed the guardianship training, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then you did the background check, is that right, after the registration?
I guess so.
You submitted for registration, correct?
She did.
Okay,
Yes.
so Judge, we have that background. Okay,
All the papers, who knows?
there you go. It's one of those things that happens without us having to do it, so.
Yeah,
She just does what we tell her.
That's right. Yeah.
The proper people did what we needed, so then we're in good shape there. Okay, and so you understand that you have a duty to do what's in your aunt's best interest and to make sure that her needs are met as best as her means provide.
Correct.
Okay, and you understand that you'll have to do an annual report and accounting for as long as this guardianship is active and keep that current with the court here. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I know that your aunt can't interact too much, but do you feel that even though with the distance, that you're still able to make sure that her needs are met through Caroline?
Yeah, she's been there 3 years, and I've been real comfortable with how well they've taken care of her. And then they call me if they have a question. So.
All right. And so you understand that you will have to do that inventory and appraisement list of claims for the court if you do find that there is more property out there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then. Judge, I'll pass this witness.
All right, Ms. Pleasant, you wish to follow up with any of that?
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Norman, do you have any evidence, or do you have any testimony you wish to bring to the court?
Judge, I have no evidence or testimony of my own. I will give an oral report to the court if you're ready for it.
I'm ready. Bring it.
Okay, just making sure this was my time. Judge, I went and visited with my client yesterday as much as she can. When I got to the room, she was asleep. I tried to talk to her. She woke up and she asked if she was coming. I repeated what I'd said, who I was, why I was there, and she went back to sleep. So I cannot consent to this on behalf of my client. However, I do not object.
Fair enough. Thank you. And Ms. Pleasant, do you have anything else you wish to bring?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Wharf, I have read your report. There was, I know when we're talking about assets to these, I think the guardianship of the person's pretty set, but as far as the estate goes, I do believe that Ms. Miller does need that power to have that estate, but what do we do about
Yes,
a bond here?
No, yeah, I agree. I am not looking at my report. I'm pretty sure I probably recommend a minimum bond just because I know that there's going to have to be some digging to see kind of what actually does exist. If there's anything that we don't know about yet, things like that. Obviously, if the house has to be sold, there might be assets that come in, but that won't be until later. And so, and I think that Ms. Miller and I maybe talked about, I think this is the case that maybe there would be an estate sale as well to maybe, as some of the personal items be sold. So I think that there will be assets coming in. I definitely think the guardianship of the estate is appropriate. I don't mind having a minimum bond until it's kind of figured out exactly what is coming in and how much that will be.
Yeah, and I know especially in your application, Laura Beth, you talked about there may be some assets of Ms. Stewart that might be involved in this too. I mean, there's just a lot of unknown. Is that
There's a lot of unknowns. And like we said, that most of the cash is going to be where we would have to ask for reimbursement, obviously, but that's going to be gone. So then it would just be a matter of
the house and the car,
the house, selling the house and the car and the furnishings. And then we know she has some credit card debt. We didn't get into all this, but there was a lady who lived with her for a while and kind of took advantage probably of her while she was in Caroline House and she was still living in her house. So she racked up some credit card debt in Dorothy's name. And so there's just things like that need to be dealt with.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, I don't want to overly burden you with a high bond on this. That's kind of what we're talking about.
Thank you.
But there may be, as Ms. Pleasant talked about, there may be a time where we will need to come back and revisit that. I'll just, as you go through the inventory process of inventorying Ms. FILGO's estate, we'll just review it when you do that. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Okay. After considering the evidence and the arguments of counsel, the court finds first by a preponderance of the evidence that the court indeed has venue in this case, because the proposed ward, Dorothy Jane FILGO, is a resident of Lubbock County, and that the person to be appointed as guardian is eligible to act as a guardian and is the proper person to act as a guardian, and that the proposed ward is totally without capacity to care for herself and to manage her property. The court also finds by clear and convincing evidence that alternatives to guardianship that would have avoided the need for the appointment of a guardian have been considered and are determined not to be feasible, and that supports and services available to the proposed ward that would have also avoided the need for the appointment of a guardian have been considered and are also determined not to be feasible. It is in the proposed ward's best interest to have this court appoint a person as the proposed ward's guardian. The proposed ward's rights and property will be protected by the appointment of a guardian. The court further finds it has examined the criminal history of the applicant, and based on the criminal history and the testimony presented, that the applicant is not disqualified to serve as a guardian. Therefore, it is the order of the court that Dorothy Jane FILGO is an incapacitated person and that the applicant, Mary Lee FILGO Miller, is now hereby appointed as guardian of the person and estate. The court further finds that the powers to be exercised by the guardian will include all the powers and authorities granted to guardians under the Texas Estates Code. We had our discussion about a bond, and so obviously we do require all of our guardians to post a bond. The recommended bond amount is the minimal bond amount, and in Lubbock County, that's $100. And so, Ms. Miller, you will be required to submit a $100 bond to the clerk of the court in order to further qualify and receive letters of guardianship, okay?
All righty.
Also, there's a document that Ms. Pleasant has for you also to sign called an oath. You will need to take that oath and have that signed in the presence of a notary. Make sure that that gets notarized. And then take that, send that back to Ms. Pleasant, and she will get that up to the court's file, okay?
All right.
All right, I want to talk to you just real briefly about your duties as a guardian, now that you've been appointed as guardian of the person and estate. Really, you've got...
Judge, just briefly, can I jump in? Am I excused? I need to run up to the office
sure.
for my 11:15.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, you're dismissed and excused, so
okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thanks, Dane.
you've got one more coming, and
We've got another one, and everyone's meeting in my office for it. So I've got to run up there.
good. All
Thank
right,
you, Judge.
we'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you, Dane.
Same. Bye.
I do want to talk to you about your duties, your legal duties as a guardian of the person and estate. You obviously now are you have control of everything regarding your Aunt Dorothy, which means that you have providing all of her food, clothing, shelter, medical care. You make all those decisions. And plus, as regards to her estate, you have control of all of her property. All, and all means all. So I know you're going to go through the process of kind of determining, what is her property and things. But with that kind of control, you get to kind of do what you need to do to take care of her estate. Now, we did talk about the house. I will say for the house, you absolutely have to come to the court. If you're going to put that on the market or sell it, you do need to get court's permission to do that.
Okay.
So, that's just kind of one of those things on that amount of property that you will need to come. That way you don't, and the purpose of that is it's still kind of it's not a liquid asset. So when it becomes a liquid asset is when you sell it and then you got the cash for it. Then we got to start talking about, what you can actually liquidate and what you can't. So as far as that goes, just make sure you continue to work with Ms. Pleasant.
Okay.
When you get to that point of needing to get rid of the property of the estate.
I was gonna say the car too. You can't sell the
And the
car
car,
without
that's
court
right.
permission.
All that will need to come back to the court.
Okay.
And understand these are all fairly routine to us.
Okay.
I know it's all brand new to you, but it's fairly routine to us. And so we understand and totally get it that this is all brand new, but just wanted you to know we kind of handle stuff like this on a pretty regular basis. So we'll make sure that everything is done right and that you're well taken care of, and that you won't get in trouble and you won't go, I wonder if I'm doing this right. Laura Beth's going to help you out.
Okay.
She's going to make sure that everything gets done properly. But I do want to remind you, I know you talked about potentially moving her. Like I said, you may think that that's a bad idea. You may think it's a great idea. That's your idea. You're the guardian. So you get to decide whether it's a bad idea or a good idea. But I just want to remind you that if you decide to move her, you must notify the court. Okay. We need to know where she's at. Don't just move her off to either another facility or to Dallas with you. If you decide that she can handle that, you must let us know.
Okay.
Always need to know where she lives.
Okay.
And you as well. I know you're not planning on moving, but if you change addresses, we also need to know where you are. I'm going to tell you about an annual report that's due. Okay. An annual report and an annual accounting. I know your aunt's 101. All right. And tomorrow's never guaranteed for any of us.
For any of us.
Right.
And not just your aunt, but 12 months from now, you will need to submit an annual report
Okay.
and an annual accounting. All right, those two documents are due 12 months from now,
Mhm.
which is what, July the 20th of 2023. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure you get those in
Okay.
and work with, pardon me,
Yeah.
work with Ms. Pleasant in her office, and she'll help you get those documents together. But they're very important. One is it lets us know how Dorothy's doing, which is always good. Plus also, your guardianship letters are only good for 12 months. I mean,
Okay.
they're going to expire in 1 year. But when you get that report in and when you get the accounting in, then your letters are automatically renewed for the next 12 months. So that's
Okay.
why it's very important. As long as
Okay.
Dorothy's still around with us, we want to make sure that we get those annual reports in. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's probably all we need to remember out of that. But
Okay.
if you forget, we'll send you a letter.
Okay.
We get pretty good about that too.
Okay. Good. Reminders are
Yeah.
always good.
Always very important. Make sure you let us know where you're living and she's living, and make sure you get those annual report and annual accounting in.
Okay.
It's really kind of your big duties coming up.
That's my job, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So once the court now, once we get confirmation on that $100 bond, and once we get that oath up to the court as well, then that will go along with this order here. So I got a blank to fill in. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm filling in the blank at $100. All right, on here also, Ms. Pleasant, you have a monthly allowance for,
Yes. What is her bill at Carolyn every month, Mary Lee?
Oh, it's generally just under $8,000.
Okay. So can we do a monthly allowance of 8,000? Just so she has the authority to pay that every month?
Ashley, you don't have a problem with that, do you?
No, I do not.
Judge, I don't know if you've noticed that I've started putting those in there. One of the
did.
things that Trilogy got nailed for is that they didn't have monthly allowances set. So that's why I made
Yeah,
a
we-
point
we-
to start doing that.
Yeah, we've been dealing with these. In fact, the hearing that we had just before, we were dealing with these. So we want to make sure that
Does that need to cover anything besides just Caroline?
Yeah, that's what, once you kind of dig in and we find out what all she has, then we can always change the monthly allowance. But for now, I wanted you to at least be able to pay that, have the authority to pay that every
'Cause
month.
I know there should be utility bill for the house, and
Okay.
she's paying, I currently am paying her past due taxes.
well, you
Well-
keep doing, yeah, just keep doing that.
And just keep-
Taxes, we don't have to ask her permission for.
We haven't even filed for the last ones because I don't know.
What's
what
her-
the papers are.
What's her income look like? We didn't talk about that.
Oh, her income is, oh wait, I'm gonna have to add it up. Well,
'Cause if it's not over 8,000, she's not gonna have it to
no,
pay. every
it's
month.
not, it's more like 5,300.
Okay, so then let's just stay with the eight then, because you're gonna have to sell the house and furnishings and car before we can ask to change all that. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah,
Okay. So basically we'll do some digging. Like he said,
Okay.
there's just so many unknowns.
I know.
Okay, I've filled in that as 8,000 and the bond is 100. So I'm going to go ahead and sign this order now, get that up to the clerk. So now, as soon as the clerk gets the rest of the paperwork, then she'll give you those, or she'll issue you those letters of guardianship. Okay,
Great, thank you.
you're welcome. Do you have any questions about any of this, Ms. Miller? Any questions at all?
No, I don't think so. Just got lots to do. You want to come help me?
That's why you got Laura Beth. She would love to
That's-
help you.
I mean, I can help with that. It's the cleaning out the house that I always look
That's
forward
what I'm
to.
talking about. I need some help. You can all three come.
Yeah, no,
That's dirty.
she'd love to help you.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Judge.
all very much. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Pleasant. Thank you. And Ms. Miller, good luck to you. If you
Thank you. I
need
appreciate it.
anything, or if you haven't run across any issues, just please let us know. Okay.
Okay, will do. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Or thank you very much. It's not often that we get these really old ones here that need guardianship. That's
I know.
quite unusual for us.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we just did what? She was 73, the one that we just did. I mean, it's like a 30 years younger
Yeah.
than this one.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 30 years. I mean, that's like a whole lifetime. You know?
Yeah, it is.
Wild.
It absolutely is.
And 73, I mean, good grief.
Let me tell you, that's really young,
Every day getting younger.
doesn't it?
Every day.
Age is relative. That
It
is for
is.
sure. That's the
It
one thing
is.
I've learned in this business.
Mhm.
Even my relatives are getting older too. So.
Yeah, yeah. I think my aunt was probably, was she 29 or 30 when I was born?
Wow. Wow.
So,
It's amazing.
yeah.
Well, thank
Okay,
you all
and-
very much. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Pleasant.
Well, no, it was just for Mary Lee, just because Jaylee's emailing you that cash bond because we weren't sure what the bond was going to be set at.
Okay.
So there's a form that we need you to print. So I didn't want you to go to the notary. Make sure you take both.
I have to take both. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And then I guess I'm gonna have to send a check to you or,
Yeah, Jaylee will call you.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank y'all.